Okay, so once again, good morning to everybody. And Dipti, now if you can ask your question. So whoever's not present and is going to listen to this recording knows what to do.
Yeah. So my question is, I came across couple of ladies before also, and now I gave it to my mom. Then she also came up with these complaints like I'm getting acidity, or my body is heating up. I'm getting dizziness. So they are relating it to bachelors. And before that, we were not getting this. Now it started. So how to tackle these people?
Okay, so anyone who would like to answer this question? And now we have enough and more BFRPs on her as well. So I'm going to take a back seat.
I missed the part of her question.
Okay, so her question is, I'll just quickly tell you. So if you come across people who say that I am experiencing a physical side effect of the remedies, like I'm sweating too much, or I have to go to the loo, or then I have acidity now, I've started having migraines, which I never had complaints of, but it's only started after I've started taking the remedies. Then what do you do? How do you answer?
The remedies are anyway not related to the physical symptoms in any way, and they can't cause side effects. So the reasons might be something else.
So one part of the answer is that, or rather one part of it is that you have to be extremely confident that you are convinced that the remedies have no side effects. One, for you to convey to them in as straight words. Okay. Secondly, then what could these effects be because of? So, okay, I'm taking remedies and I've suddenly started having acidity. So, why is this happening?
So we can also look into Swati here.
Hi, Swati.
Hi. So we can also look into like what emotions have showed up or what people are hiding, like what is surfacing, and then address that issue, which will definitely have a ripple effect on the physical whatever is showing up.
Absolutely. So, of course, we know the peeling effect of the remedies, right? Once we're on the remedies, while it targets your emotions, okay, while it targets the emotions, it is also going to clear up layers of emotions and going to bring whatever is lying underneath on the surface. Okay, can I request everyone else to mute themselves because I'm going to hear about everything that's happening in your background and household. Lovely, thank you. Okay, so while we're working on the emotions and the emotions are clearing out or balancing themselves out, but we're also working with the peeling effect of the remedies, right? So whatever's lying underneath is going to come up to the surface. And the other important aspect is, and I always explain this in level 1, that whenever somebody talks about side effects to the physical body, right? Every individual has a certain way of dealing with the physical discomfort and the emotional discomfort. All right. For example, when you come back from a holiday, okay, it's a very recent example because I've just come back from a holiday on Sunday. So we were two of us, right? Me and my husband. The way I reacted to kind of reconnecting with my world is I was active once again. I came back from a holiday, I unpacked, I did things, I was absolutely energetic and I went on with life. Whereas Kay needed an entire day to just sleep it off. Okay, we went on the same holiday, right? So everyone's on the similar kind of remedies, but then one feels like sleeping after a holiday, while the other feels even more energetic. Why? It is because that's my personal way of dealing with things. It's my personal way of dealing with the shift in energy. So similarly, if I'm on remedies and my physical body has a way of dealing with change, then whether it is by showing a physical symptom, whether it's by getting a migraine, whether it is by having a stomach upset, whether it's by feeling very, very tired and lethargic, my body is going to realign itself to this new energy by showing that change. Okay. So your acidity, your headache, your XYZ is not a side effect of the remedies. It's your body's way of reshifting. because there is a shift that is happening. For some, that shift is pleasant, and for some, that shift is not so pleasant. So you have to wait till it kind of settles on itself, or then you always have rescue, or then you have other remedies which you can, give considering whatever your client is going through. Does that work, Dipti? I've lost my
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lovely.
And this, okay, this gave me one more insight that this is what is going to happen, and keep yourself on a detox mode probably for, couple of
Absolutely.
days.
If you're very, very sensitive to energies, then you will experience some kind of shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Lovely. Hi, Pravita. I just saw you shifting that
Hello,
curtain.
Auntie.
I saw you. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Lovely. Okay, so I'm not gonna wait for anyone else. If people join in, I'll just take them in. Okay, so we just started off with that question because Dipti had a question. So once again, good morning and hello to everybody. Neeta, I'm sure it's early morning for you in UK. But for the rest of you, thank you so much for joining in. And it's really, really, really a pleasure to see everybody once again after a long, long break. Hi, Mahendraji. And to the ones I'm not calling out your names, it's because I don't see you. I only see names, which is why I'm not ignoring you, acknowledging everyone right there. Okay, so how many? Saying anything to me? Okay, how many over here are coming for a support group for the first time? Okay, Vidhi. Richa. Oh, hi, Richa. Oh, Namshi. Others all have attended some support group before, right? Okay.
I'm also for the first time.
Of course, we just about finished our classes. Okay, so the reason I'm asking is I'm going to quickly tell you what the idea of the support group is. So the support group was started during the lockdown period. Of course, because we couldn't meet up, there was no other means of catching up. And also another big reason was that not everyone was lucky enough to get some books off the internet or buy any books. Right? So it was my idea of reading some books every time we met so that we get an idea about what different authors have to say about Bach, a different perspective to the same remedy. And the other important aspect is when you're doing any of the levels, you have a very limited amount of time to kind of capture everything about all the remedies. Right? When the support group started, we started dedicating those 2 hours or 1.5 hours just for one remedy. That kind of helped us understand it even more. There were times that even I learned something new because I've not read all the books. So if someone else came with a different book, it was nice to listen to that. So that was the whole idea. And of course, to keep in touch with each other and keep this journey going. So that's a quick gist of why the support group. And for the first timers, we have always tried to keep this going on. We've managed, I think, five to six sessions so far. And hopefully, every time I say this, that I plan to do this on a very regular basis. But we can never come up with an advanced date. So whenever we manage the time and the space to push a support group in, we always do. So that's one more reason why you should not get off the group and stay in touch so that we get this chance to keep meeting. Beenaji, I saw you logging in somewhere and now I've lost you, but hi.
Aarti, can you see me and hear me?
Yes, I can see you and hear you as well.
Okay, I am not able to unmute. पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है.
But I can hear you, so you're definitely unmute.
Hi, Aarti, I'm there. Unmute हो गया? अभी mute नहीं हो रहा है. पता नहीं क्या हो गया.
One sec, okay, one sec. Let me try and mute you from my end. Now you're on mute. One sec. Okay. अभी मेरी तरफ से unmute नहीं हो रहा है, तो आप unmute करो. Oh geez, what did I just do? Can you unmute yourself? Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay, lovely. So I know Vidhi said she will read from Stefan's book. There was someone else also who said they would like to read.
Mayuri had said, but I don't see her online.
I did see Mayuri logging in.
I'll message her.
Okay, she's not there. Who else said that? Mayuri said. Okay, so far, Mayuri and Vidhi. Anyone over here who's got any particular book that they would like to read from? I know Sania always read from something, but Sania is not around. Pushpa is. So, Pushpa, do you have something? Or
I have only one book. Actually, I have only the encyclopedia by Metzl Schreifer and another one for Bachelor for Remedies by David F. Bennell. But other than that, these are the only two books I have.
Okay, so I have the encyclopedia. So if you want to try the other one.
I have this Bachelor Therapy Theory and Practice by Metzl Schreifer. Can I read from this book?
Yes, you can. It's the same author, but let's see what that one has. So, okay, we have Pravita, we have Vidhi. Vidhi, I want to cover your section towards the end because it talks about the category as well.
Yeah, there's one more book I have, which is one second, which is Batchflower Remedies, Form and Function by Julian Bernard.
Okay, lovely. I would like to hear that as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, since everyone has everything else, I will start the Vervain passage from our very favorite Big Mo. Because I know that not everyone has a copy of this. So the very basic information about Vervain, the most concise and precise explanation of Vervain, and then we will move on to the other explanations. Okay. One request is, and while I will also follow the same thing, when someone else is reading, just try and keep yourself on mute. Because again, it's pressure cookers and fans and doorbells and everything else in the background. All right. So I hope nobody wants a picture of this one. It's the yellow book by Wigmo Publications. That's what it's called, the 38 Flower Remedies. And it says, Vervain, the keywords are over-enthusiasm. Okay, it says Vervain is for those with fixed principles and ideas, which they are confident are right and which they rarely change. Those needing Vervain are determined but highly strong, overachieving and keyed up. They put up unnecessary effort into everything they undertake, pushing themselves beyond their physical limits. Their minds race ahead of events. They take on too much work and try to tackle too many jobs at once. Those people are strong-willed and hold strong views, sensitive to injustice and dedicated to causes. Often self-sacrificial, their over-enthusiasm can be fanatical, so that they alienate potential allies and converts. They may suffer from lack of sleep due to their active minds and inability or unwillingness to relax. Demonstrative in speech and movement, they can be irritable, frustrated, and annoyed over matters of principle. So basically, when they believe in something very, very strongly. The positive potential of Vervain, which is when we give Vervain to somebody, what are the effects? So the positive potential of the Vervain is the person who is calm, wise, tolerant, and able to relax. Although they hold strong views, they can change them when appropriate and do not need to impose them on others. They take a broad view of life and events. Positive Vervain people understand, as Dr. Batch wrote, it is by being rather than doing that great things are accomplished. Right? So rather than constantly making other people follow what you want or doing things, it's about believing what you want to, being that kind of a message that you want to pass out to the world, rather than being or rather nagging at other people and being very, very persuasive. Right? Okay. Any questions so far before we move on to the next book? It's like a basic definition of verbatim. All right. Let's then hear it from. Can I see you here? Avitra, are you still there? Sorry, Pravita, are you still there? Yes, you are there. Okay, so Pravita, if you read from your book, and then we move on to Pushpa, and then Vidhi.
Okay, I would like to read the key symptoms of verbatim.
Sure, and also if you could, because your camera is very dark, can you post a picture of your cover page onto the group, on the support group?
Yeah, sure. I'm not able to get light today. I don't know what.
I think it's because you're sitting in front of the light. If you sit facing the light, it might be better. Look at the camera woman smiling. Some little sense even we have, no name. That's okay. Yes, we can see it. We can see it. We can see it.
Yeah.
That's bachelor therapy.
Theory and Practice by Michelle Sheffer. So, yeah, the key symptoms of vervain is over-enthusiastic in supporting a good cause. So, strains his energies, highly strung, and even fanatical. Okay, so it says that vervain relates to, in the negative aspect, he will be directed to too much to the outside, and energies are not used economically and therefore squandered. He wants the other person to change, he wants, he's so enthusiastic and so, believing in his own good cause. More than applying it to himself, he wants the surroundings to be changed. Okay, so like, for example, they have given here, it's a beautiful example I felt like to understand vervain. It says that when a teacher asked a student to, take responsibility of the task and be very particular with the time. So the student, he gets up thinking of the time. He goes to sleep thinking of it. And he wakes in the night. His first thought is what time it may be. He wants to do the job not 100, but 150%. Almost outdoing himself. His teacher not only has to look at him and he'll be bursting to say what time it is. If the other boys and the girls are dawdling, he will run after them, almost begging them to hurry up. Surely they must know how important it is to be punctual. Young Peter finds no relaxation on the class trip. He is on the job all the time, and his classmates end up by calling him the clock, an early example of a vervain type. So he's so enthusiastic to do it 150%, like he just can't relax. He just wants to, show that potential that he can make that change outside. In the bargain, he's not able to relax himself at all. So I found that is a very good example of vervain. And with an excessive use of willpower, they tend to overdraw on their energy account. They are tense and nervous inside and out, and react angrily when things are not progressing as well as they expected. As a result, they get even more involved, trying to take even more out of themselves. They'll never allow themselves a free minute throughout the day, and only have a few hours of sleep at night. They overestimate their vital energy and carry on regardless of their health. Suddenly, they'll catch the flu, their immune system may having been weakened. Like, they put so much of stress on themselves that they are not able to relax at all in any way until and unless that work is done, So I feel this is what I wanted to read about the key symptoms of vervain today. And I feel like, by this, we will get to know the difference between rock water and vervain also, right? Like, rock water is to self, but vervain is like to the outside. He wants everything to be done and he wants people to follow.
Absolutely. And along with just rock water, I think even the difference between an impatience and vervain. Like the example that you shared, could very easily be mistaken to be an impatience type because he's so constantly conscious about the time, but not realizing it's not so much about being impatient as to what time is it or to get perfectly on time because the teacher said so, but it is the excitement because one is the teacher has told him to make sure that the task is managed and it so relates to time. So one can easily see, oh, this is an impatience kind of a student. So lovely example.
Correct. And also I feel that that over enthusiasm, is it because to prove himself that he is the best in doing the task? Like, why does that feeling come?
It's not about proving. It's not at all about proving for a Bobin. It's just that the belief is so strong, and like the passage rightly said, that the other students must understand the importance of the time because the teacher has mentioned it. If she said it, there is a meaning to it, and then why is it that they can't understand it? So my whole eagerness to be right, my whole enthusiasm and overexcitement about doing that task, it's all a mixed bag of all of that. And of course, my energy, which is almost jumping, that it's all together a package.
Correct. And finally, their energy is depleted because they overdo things. Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, Swati also says also oak. It could come across as an oak personality who's taking on responsibilities. So as if it's my job to make sure everybody else is on time. Yeah, if this was okay, so let me ask you. How would or what would the difference be in an oak? If this was an oak person, what would the slight difference be?
I think the proving yourself, Ran.
Overdoing.
Little, very minutely.
Stretching too much beyond the limit.
Yeah, overdoing.
Ignoring your own self.
Relaxing.
That would
Ignoring
be
your own self, yes, but an oak would come from the point of view that if I don't tell them, then who's going to do this? It's my responsibility. Not because the teachers told me. I know the importance of time. So it is my responsibility to get everybody in class on that time.
So don't Varvin also do something like that, even if they are not told by the teacher, but they have certain point of view. Aren't on the same boat? Like,
but the difference over here would be the Varvin. Yes, the righteousness. And a Varvin will try and explain to them. They will not just, they won't be taskmasters. They will try and prove a point as to why do you have to be on time? What is the whole importance of this activity or whatever that the teachers told me?
Yeah, so you don't surrender and said, okay.
Yeah, Arati was rock water under the category of overcare.
Yes.
Because because I missed that part and I missed that recording also. Can I get the recording again because I missed to
sure. Can we talk about that on your particular group, Richa? Because this could be a mix of everyone.
Yeah. Just wanted to confirm rock water because I have not heard about it.
Yes.
So maybe
sure. Hi, Akshika.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, so
She's
nice.
looking so pretty.
Thank you. So good to see.
So I want the entire passage from the encyclopedia read. Who had the encyclopedia?
I have, but someone else also has.
I have it also.
I also have.
Pushpa here.
Oh, yes, Pushpa. Okay, so if you could read the entire passage from encyclopedia on Govind, that will give a better perspective.
Right from the beginning again? Right from the beginning?
From the beginning. Yes, Vidhi.
Before she starts with the next book, can I just add to what discussion was going on? So this thing happens to me a lot where someone tells you a time limit and then there are two things that happen. One, if you're convinced with that idea, then only you try and lead the crowd to follow that instruction. If you're not convinced with that idea, you fight it there itself and say that I'm not going to do this shit. But if you are convinced, then what happens is the first thought that comes to my mind is that now that I'm convinced, maybe the crowd that I'm leading, they need to realize what they're capable of, what potential they have in them. And probably that will happen only if I sort of guide them or instruct them in a certain way, which is equivalent to what the teacher is asking me to do.
Right.
And then I feel that right now, maybe they feel that I'm being pushy, but then eventually they'll realize how much of potential and how much they are able to achieve in those 2 hours of time. And that would then drive me to lead or give some sort of instruction. But again, it will happen after a brief pep talk of convincing rather than just assigning responsibilities.
That's what I said. A Vervain will just not go around pulling people or instructing them, okay, do this. You have to follow these instructions. It's more about convincing others. And like Neeta's rightfully put on the group, Oak is me as the pillar, whereas Vervain is about me convincing others. So as an Oak, I feel it is my responsibility towards the teacher and the class that everybody is on time. But as Vervain, I think it's my responsibility that I explain it to them how this is going to be beneficial for them. Right? Which is why I'm going to do so much more of convincing rather than instructing. Which is where the Vervain is a better leader as opposed to a Vine. Because a Vine will only dominate and tell, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, be in class by 8 o'clock. Right?
Is there a fine line between Vine and Vervain?
I won't say fine line. It's a very, very prominent difference. Because a Vine is a dictator. Do it because I'm telling you, there are no arguments, there are no discussions. I know what is best. Right? Okay. But, so let's say a Vine could be a strict father who just says, children don't understand anything, so they might as well just listen to me. Whereas a Vervain could be a mother who's sitting and talking to the children about why what the father has said is important. Because it's going to affect their lives. So she's going to convince them to see his point. Whereas the Vine is just going to say, just follow me. No questions, no arguments.
They don't accept others' opinion. Vine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't accept other opinions, as well as they won't be approachable either for any discussion or feedback or anything for that matter.
They are not accessible.
Not accessible, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, Pushpa, are you around?
Yes, I'm around. So you want me to read the encyclopedia, not the other one, right?
Please. Okay. No, sorry, you had something else you said.
I had a beginner's guide also. It's a very small, concise passage. It's from Bachelor Remedies for Beginners. Like, I'll just put the camera on and show you all the book also because I don't know how to. This one.
Okay.
So you want me to read this or the encyclopedia?
Read both. If this one's a small passage, then read this and then the encyclopedia.
Yeah, this is very small. It's Vervain. Keywords are over-enthusiasm, physical and mental strain. Vervain types are conscientious and hardworking. They have high ideals and standards, and it is often their mission in life to help others see that their ways are the best. They can be evangelical and try to convert others to their way of thinking. They do this not for the sense of power or control, but because they genuinely have good intentions and wish to help others. Their boundless enthusiasm might often be for environmental, educational, political, or spiritual issues, or for some other good cause. Whenever they have a chance to talk to someone about these issues, they will do their best to interest them in these worthy causes. They like to show others the way. Vervain types often make good salespeople. Their enthusiasm can be infectious and leads them to be successful in whatever field they choose. However, they can be prone to working or pushing themselves too far, and this can lead to physical and mental strain that might sometimes take the form of a nervous breakdown or other classic symptoms of stress like depression. They can become frustrated if they feel their work is not progressing well, or if problems and difficulties arise. They tend to be quick thinking and active people full of good ideas and good intentions. If they do push themselves too hard or experience too many frustrating setbacks, then tension can build up within and they can become impatient and snappy, appearing high-strung. They are definitely not plodders and sometimes find it difficult to relax and unwind. Then there's a small passage about remedy effects. The remedy effects of vervain are, it helps people slow down and learn to accept difficulties and setbacks with a peaceful and philosophical mind. They become more accepting of others and more open and interested in their ideas and beliefs. It creates a sense of being that is relaxed and tension-free. It does not dull their enthusiasm or creative energy, but simply helps them to live within their limits and learn to relax and recharge themselves regularly. That was one page. So shall I continue with the encyclopedia? Encyclopedia is a long
Yes,
thing.
please. Yeah.
Vervain, those with fixed principles and ideas which they are confident are right and which they rarely change. They have a great wish to convert all around them to their views of life. They are strong of will and have much courage when they are convinced of those things that they wish to teach. In illness, they struggle on long after many would have given up their duty. Edward Bach. Vervain relates to the soul's potential for enthusiasm. In the negative vervain state, your enthusiasm is exaggerated and your energy is squandered by using it in a missionary way, as can be seen in this example. It's the same thing which he read about the child. You want me to read the whole thing again? It's exactly
No, I think
the same.
we've got the examples.
Yeah, we skip that. So then she says an inner flame burns within vervain people in this negative state. If they have a positive idea that utterly consumes them, they are unable to rest until everybody around them has been convinced of the idea as well. Chair people of volunteer organizations donating their free time and many nighttime hours to a good cause, never fearing to say what has to be said, can often be negative vervain type. They are always on call, feeling dedicated to their role. With missionary zeal, they will try to win over everybody they meet, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. The reason they sometimes fail to do so is that in their eagerness, they tend to overdo things. Always passionate protagonists. They bombard others with their arguments rather than play the skilled diplomat who will let those around them have a say as well. With such an excessive use of willpower, they tend to draw too heavily on their energy reserve. They can become tense and nervous inside and out and can react angrily when things don't progress well as they expected. As a result, they get even more involved and trying to give more of themselves. They never allow themselves a free minute throughout the day and get only a few hours sleep at night as they overestimate their vital energy and carry on regardless of their health. Then all of a sudden an illness will pull them up short. They'll catch the flu, for instance, because they have no resistance left. Some people are so keyed up in the negative vervain state that even if they wanted to, they would find it difficult to relax physically. The enormous tension in their muscles is reflected in their extreme facial expressions, and they perform physical activities with exaggerated effort. They grip a pencil so hard, for instance, that it almost breaks. And when they come up the stairs, it sounds as though they're wearing army boots. Vervain types pour out their energy, and unlike rock water types, sometimes want to force happiness onto others. They are revolutionaries at heart, often unaware that they are triggering a whole avalanche of complications. They are itinerant preachers, people conscious of their mission, people who can never keep quiet and are prepared to go to prison for their conviction. In one extreme case, a student poured gasoline over himself and set himself on fire in public to draw attention to an ideal. Unfortunately, such people are often doing more harm than good for their causes. Often they appear to others as silly children or are quickly written off as lunatics. This is the tragedy of the negative fervent state. If you are in this negative state, you have heard the calling of your soul and want to follow it. After this, you're flooded with a great deal of positive energy, but your personality is not yet ready. It still lacks knowledge of certain laws and experience in dealing with such large amounts of positive force. Because the energy is available, however, the personality tries to use it, following its own limited concept, rather than simply allowing energy to flow into it as water in a vessel. The result is the same as forcing a strong jet of water through a hose that is too narrow. The personality needs to grasp the idea that this energy was not given to be squandered indiscriminately or as it sees fit, but to be spent wisely and economically for a higher goal. Part of this wise use includes looking after the body, an important vessel for energy, instead of ignoring it or treating it lightly. Another concept it must realize is that pressure always produces counter pressure. A good idea needs no hard sell pressure. A much more convincing strategy is to embody the idea and let others discover it for themselves. As Bach said, it is by being rather than doing that great things are accomplished. In practice, vervain is recommended for any kind of exaggeration. For those who tend to get too carried away with a task, who can't measure their activity well, or who are so driven by their energy that they are unable to stop what they are doing, whether it's work, eating, sex, sports, or anything else that is being overdone. Often it seems that these exaggerations, a person is trying to prove something to himself, or find his limits. In a situation that takes a great deal of willpower, such as learning to walk again after an accident, vervain can help a person to avoid overdoing and to learn how to use energy in a balanced way. Those in the positive vervain state have become the masters of their divine unrest and use their energies not eagerly, but lovingly and effectively. They are completely involved in the task at hand, but are also prepared to hear the opinions of others and review their own position if necessary. Hence,
voice is not coming.
Hence, can you hear now?
It's
Hence,
very
they have a
clear.
broader perspective, and with this view, an individual's exuberant character is able to inspire others and carry them along easily. That's the end of the passage. Then we have some vervain key symptoms. Your enthusiasm, even in the support of a good cause, strains personal energies. You are high-strung, even messianic. Messianic is, I think, like it's more of a messiah type of energy. Arati, you want me to continue about the behavior pattern in the block state?
Yes, the behavior pattern is this.
Okay. Behavior pattern in the blocked state. You're enthusiastic about an idea and want to get others involved too. You become incensed by injustice. You're very intense and overly focused. You try to give 150%. You're impulsive and idealistic to the point of being a missionary. You're wound up inside and always on the job. You tell others how to do things to the point of doing things for them. You try to force others to do or follow what's good for them. You want to convert others, and in this desire, you absolutely drown them with your energy, eventually tiring them out and turning them away. You hate to get sick because you don't want to lose your momentum at work. You're sure of what's right for others. You overdo things, get ahead of yourself, and at times become fanatical. You accept unwarranted risk and sacrifice too often to achieve your goals. You force yourself to keep going even when you're physically exhausted. You grow irritable and nervous when things don't progress the way you want. You find it difficult to do less than too much. You don't know when to stop, exaggerating your pursuit of eating, sex, work, or sports. You're totally keyed up and unable to relax. You suffer from muscle tension, pain in your eyes, or headache. Children are hyperactive and won't go to bed at night. Then there's a caveat here, a small scale. Even if only one or two of these patterns precisely match your present situation, you need vervain. Positive potential. You know the appropriate amount of energy to use in all activities. Your reactions are tolerant and poised. You stand up for your own ideas, but respect those of others and discuss them objectively. You're able to let others dance to their own drama without having to interfere. You use your excess energy wisely and carefully when there is a good cause. You are able to effortlessly enthuse, inspire, and motivate others in the name of a higher ideal. Then there are empowering statements. I relax. I give space to others. I pace my energy.
Thank you so much, Pushpa. Any thoughts, any questions, anything you would like to say to that?
Well, it's very strange. The verbatim came to my notice about a month or two ago for the person I knew. I never thought the person was verbatim because I always thought verbatim was to do only with enthusiasm and being high strung. And it was really strange to know that this person can be very, in my way of putting it, I know it's a little judgmental, but can be very pushy. push, you know. So I was really surprised. And then I reread verbatim before, and it was very strange. And we came up with verbatim this week because it was, how come I didn't know this? I mean, I always thought it was just about high energy, high enthusiasm, high strength, but never about on the other side of it, you know. So it's good. It really got into me this time.
Absolutely, which is where we compare it to the wine, that it may look like someone who is trying to tell you what to do, is trying to, like you said, be pushy or dominating, but it's not dominating because they want you to follow their instructions. It's because I so strongly realize how it is important to me and the kind of difference it's made for me. Then why can't you see that? Why can't you do it? Like, I can see that if you do this, it'll help you so much. Then why aren't you doing it? That feeling is so strong in me that I end up being a little too pushy so that you follow it as well.
Correct.
Arati, once when I was consulting a client, and during that time, the client was talking so much like about his ideas, about his way of processing those ideas and things like that. I got confused. Like, I thought he was an Heather person. Because he was, continuously trying to tell me what his ideas were, and, what he wants to do and how things he would like to progress, and people are not supporting him and things like that. So I thought he must be a verbatim because continuously he was talking. Heather person, sorry, he was a Heather person. And then when Heather did not work for, some time, I then, came to this thing that it could be a verbatim person. So I got confused between Heather and Berwin. And Berwin then reacted beautifully on him, and he said, like, I'm able to relax now, and I'm able to, you know, understand things in a different perspective. So I think, yeah, that is the one experience which I, you know, understood about the difference between a Heather person and a Berwin person.
Absolutely, which is why I think it's very important to understand. Like I always say, that one is what is the indication of the remedy. So what am I working on? But if that is confusing, because many a times we get confused, is it vervain, is it rock water, is it rope, is it wine, where am I? Then another way of thinking about the case is, where do I want to reach? What do I want to achieve? Yeah, this person needs to relax a little bit. Then I know he needs vervain. There's something that needs to go down about his energy. Yeah, the person needs to stop talking so much about himself but start listening to others. Then I know it's a Heather. Right? So the difference in your case could be, was this person talking about himself or what he believed in, and because of which he wanted to do a certain change, whether it's towards society or whether it's towards philosophies or whatever. Yeah, that could be a giveaway of a Heather or a vervain. So where do I need to reach? What do I need to achieve in this person? Which is why the other application of vervain is also for people who are not able to sleep. That whole energy is so strong and high, even at that hour. That because I'm so driven by something, you know, for example, many a times when you're very excited about the next morning trip that you're going for, you're not able to sleep. Even that could be called as insomnia, even that could be called as anxiety, even that could be called as I'm nervous and anticipating or whatever, but it's the excitement of going on that trip in the morning that I'm just not able to sleep. My mind is so high in energy. It's constantly thinking about that. So you could easily confuse that with a white chestnut, but it is the vervain energy that is not letting one sleep. Again, which is why vervain is applicable for children who have the so-called ADHD and ADD issues, where they are so active, their mind is constantly thinking about what to do next, because they're buzzing with energy. Right? Okay, so moving on to the vervain of the group then. Vidhi, would you want to read your passage and tell us a little about yourself so we get it first-hand from a vervain?
Yeah, all this while I was listening and thinking that, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, maybe I'm somewhere at 6. If I was at 10, I would have burnt myself in front of everyone. I was like, thank God I didn't do that. Yeah, and one more thing I just wanted to add was that one more observation has been that if it's a Heather versus a vervain, in a group, if there are gaps, there are any awkward silences, a vervain would take over, thinking that, okay, let me regain the momentum or the energy of the group. So they will take the empty space as an opportunity to talk about themselves, about the experiences, because somehow there are just too many. And a Heather would just grab space. They'll cut you off. They'll grab whichever, they'll stop everyone from talking. So both of them talk about themselves. Both of them are self-obsessed. I would not deny that. But it's just a difference of how it works in a group. Now, I don't know if a vervain who's on a scale of 1 to 10, if he's at 9 or 10, then what they would do.
Exactly.
Then
And I
don't know.
like that first statement, because while we all might talk very generally about a certain type, but then that scale matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be from 0 to 10, you could be at 10 being a vervain or whatever type, or then you could be somewhere in the middle, or perhaps then it exists in you as a mood remedy where there are phases of being a vervain. Right?
Yeah. Can I share my screen? I've just highlighted one paragraph before I. You'll need to enable screen share.
Okay.
हाँ अभी दिख रहा है 1 मिनट.
I must say that's a brilliant way of doing it.
I had highlighted, but now I can't find it. 1 second.
That's okay.
Go on search, you'll find the highlighted.
Yeah, that's
Which book is this?
This is Julian Bernard, I think. Yeah,
Form and
Batch Flower.
Function.
Form and Function wala book.
Yeah, so basically Julian Bernard was one of the many founders of the Remedies in UK as well. When I say founders of the Remedies, the one who made the bottles. So we all talk about the kid from the Bat Center or Nelson's and Julian Bernard. So Julian Bernard was one of the other guys who had actually started making these remedies in UK.
Yeah, so there are just 3-4 lines from here that I want to read, then I'll go to the main book. This one is, it is not unusual for people to speak of themselves as impatient and then say, I'm an empathian step, which exactly happened when I was getting trained by Arati. I was like, oh, I'm empathian, I'm doing this. But when in many cases, we are actually of the vervain soul type, the problem arises in this way. We see and recognize the irritation, the tension, the self-stressing, and so on, and think it's a sign of impatience. Now, for me, what happens is everything has to be time-bound. Like when someone read it out that you wake up thinking, what time is it? Am I late? What is happening? The reason is very simple. It's just that because out of over enthusiasm, there are so many things that you're doing at one go, and you want to do too many things and you want to do all of them perfectly and you want to just be perfect everywhere and sab karna hai. To sab karna hai, to then you have to manage your time. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can't afford to spend 2 hours somewhere where you thought that it's going to take 30 minutes. So then that frustration comes, that irritation comes, that, okay, I have to reach somewhere. What do I do? So it might sound that someone is empathians, but actually they have a lot going on in a day. Like even if I think now today, just today, if I just look at today, so I'm here having a set of lectures to take. I have some meetings to attend. In the middle of that, I wanted to attend this, so I'm here. Then I have to go for a dance class, and then I have to go to teach some dance forms, and then there are so many things that I have to manage, and then I have to go to the gym and exercise because there's so much of energy. What do you do with it? So it's just whole day, you're just overdoing things, and then you can't relax. And I would say I've been taking Vervin for 6 months, but I mean, earlier it was on and off, but 6 months I've been consistently taking it. My over enthusiasm is still there only, but what has changed is that, sorry, did someone ask something? No, no. Huh. So I said my over enthusiasm is still there. Only 2 things have changed. One, that I have started realizing when I overdo things. I still can't stop doing it, but I realized that, okay, this is happening. Secondly, whatever anger was coming when I was debating with someone, that anger has gone. So otherwise, every Saturday, Sunday would be a battlefield in my house because I would take a certain government side and my dad would take someone else's side. And we both would fight. And then one of us would skip our dinner out of anger and then go off to sleep. That has completely stopped because now we can debate well. So that over enthusiasm is still there. Maybe if I take it for a few more months, that will also balance out. But right now, at least that anger has stopped. So in anger management, it has helped me a lot more than anything else.
And thank you for sharing that, Vidi, because like a lot of people, say that, okay, so if I take honeysuckle, am I going to forget my life? Or if I take vervain, that if I give vervain to my child, is he not going to be playful? If I give vervain to my pet, is he not going to be playful or happy or excited? That's not what it is. It is about finding that balance. It is about, like you rightly said, my over enthusiasm is not gone, but I can take a step back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the remedy is supposed to do. It helps you understand that, okay, I can still be as excited as I want to be about this particular thing that I believe in, But I can take a step back, continue to believe in what I believe, but I don't need to convince the opposite person. I'm going to show them the truth, and then they can choose what they want.
True.
Thank you.
And one more thing is, in my whole kit, the only 2 remedies that I have not opened are Hornbeam and Wild Rose. Hornbeam, I don't think I've ever needed because night and day, everything is same.
As a
Everything
Virgin,
is
I
full
wouldn't
of
expect you.
excitement. Yeah. And then Wild Rose, I think I opened once recently. I haven't taken it yet, but as a Virgin, it's extremely difficult to read when you're going through a Wild Rose phase because it's the exact opposite of your energy. It takes a lot of time to read that whether this person needs Wild Rose or not. समझ में ही नहीं आता. I'll stop sharing this screen. Yeah. Do you want me to read that the book
part
that
where
I
you
shared with
said
you?
yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
But Arati, one question over here, like when she was sharing, Vidhi was sharing about her experience. She was sharing that she's doing so much of work, one after the other without stopping, overdoing things and working continuously for one after the other. So, somewhere I felt like, she was planning to take oak. But when she said vervain, it was like not stopping, just continuously doing one of taking class, going to the gym and not able to, not wanting to relax. Somewhere
In
that...
fact, I thought it was that kind of feeling overlapped a little with mine being a rock water. Why would you say oak?
Because oak is also overdoing things, right? I mean,
For
not
others.
For others.
For others.
Yeah,
That's the difference here. Here she's saying that there's so much energy that I want to do. So, okay, taking classes, lecturing could be, as an oak, she could feel it's a responsibility towards her students. But about learning the art form, about learning the dance, about going to the gym, that's all about herself. It's something that, she's doing for herself because she rightly said that there's so much energy. Abhi kya karu? I can't sit still. Kuch to karna hai.
But vervain is like making others do, right? I mean, more than self.
One quality of the vervain is that they are very persuasive, and out of the overcare, they are over convincing. But the vervain's enthusiasm, overexcitement, the whole, the rush of doing things, you can't take it away from a vervain.
One thing I would like to add, the vervain is like, I have done it, I have achieved it, I have just went to meditation classes, I have gained so much, so you also do. So that thing is not there in oak. Oak is like, oh, I'm doing so much. Maybe I'm feeling so much overburdened, but vervain never feels so that I'm overburdened. Vervain is like releasing all the energy.
Absolutely.
And I think passion also governs everything. Like whatever you want to do, if say someone, even like we are not just because we have time or energy, we won't get into anything. A woman will only get into something they're passionate about. Like if someone asks me to cook after 6 p.m., I'm nothing against cooking. It's just that something I don't enjoy personally. So if someone tells me to even go in the kitchen and pick up a vessel, I would refrain from doing that. So it's all about passion. Even with teaching, more than responsibility, it's about passion. If I was not enjoying or passionate about it, I would have resigned there itself. So it's about what you're willingly doing.
No, I
quite like that line. It's about what you're willingly doing.
I also agree with what Arati said. I'm a vervain myself, and I am a borderline with rock water and vervain. So it's a very overlapping thing, and somehow I feel if you are slightly towards rock water also. There are days, since you said you never take hornbeam, there are days when you look at hornbeam, because you're pushing yourself, then the procrastination comes in from a point of falling short. So I used to think I don't need it, but I've taken it and it has worked for me. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Sadhana. No, I absolutely agree. When Vidhi was reading all of that, I was thinking, I'm like this. I want to get up at 5:30 only and start my, walk at a certain time, take my pups out for a certain time, then exercise for a certain time. And I'm thinking, okay, so is it because I'm worrying about it? No, but I have a very strong rock water trait that, like even Vidhi said, I know I have so many things to cover up in the morning. If I don't start at that hour, I'll miss out on something or I'll compromise on something. But again, it's not so much about, there's so much energy where to, use it. There are days where I may not even feel energetic, but I would still want to do that. And that's the whole hornbeam or olive kind of a feeling, because that's the right thing for me to do at that point of time. And I don't want to compromise on my ritual, or I don't want to compromise on the standard that I've set for myself. That's where the rock water kicks in. That then I may be hard on myself. I know I'm sick, but I still want to do it. I know I'm feeling tired, but I still want to do it. And that is very, very fixed in my head. So I will. And then, like again, Vidhi said, the irritation, the anger, the frustration will set in if I don't manage it. If 6 ka 6:30 bhi ho gaya, then it's already like, there's that snap, that tick off, that switching off has already happened in the head. But I will still complete that task. Yes, Pranav.
One keyword which I felt really differentiates oak and vervain, and I completely agree with Vidhi. There is this sense of calmness that's there with oak, which is not with vervain, and there is that sense of compulsion which comes in with vervain but doesn't come with oak. So, and as they rightly pointed out, and then they talk about the tree, right? There is so much stillness, calmness, a sense of responsibility, and the whole energy potential itself. Vervain is somewhere here, and then oak is somewhere here. They are doing it because they have to do it in the form of responsibility rather than a state of compulsion.
Absolutely. I think the whole calmness aspect that you brought about is very important. There is a certain calmness which is there with an oak, and oak would continue. You would continue plodding. So if you've ever seen tarot cards, there is a card where there is a man holding a huge thing on his back, but he's going on. And oak is more like that. Whereas a vervain would be more like a clown with a lot of things around, but would enjoy the whole process of juggling.
True. And oak is not necessarily enjoying it.
Absolutely.
I think oak is more
most of the times is not enjoying it. It's only about fulfilling that. Agar maine nahi kiya, to kaun karega? That's the feeling. If I don't do it, then who will?
I have to keep on struggling. Like oak is like that. I can't quit.
And
I think it's a typical mother's feeling. If I resign, then the whole household and the world will shut down. That's what an oak is.
I agree. Some kind of delegation is missing, Arti. They are difficult. For them, it is difficult to delegate their responsibilities.
For an oak.
For a vervain, I feel. Na? What they think, what they do is correct. I mean, like, they don't trust others, I feel. I mean, like, I am closely interacting with one person who has got this characteristics. I find that is also there, I feel.
Not trusting others.
They feel that is correct. I don't know, it's rock water which is coming.
Yes, they will do what they believe is correct. That for sure, not because they don't trust others. It's because they so strongly believe in their own philosophy or their own thought.
Strong-willed people, na? So
yes, strong-willed people. Whereas I feel an oak would find it difficult to delegate. Rather than delegating tasks, the oak would just take on everything on themselves and continue doing it.
I want to share one thing.
Please.
Yeah, I gave vervain and rock water to 3 of my friends. Like together, they shared me this thing. Ki they all like every lady wants a house, be always clutter free. Always children would follow their instructions. They'll keep things like pantry, bathroom, everything. So they were like not enjoying with the kids, and they were getting aggressive, and they were not understanding what is going on, and they were like trying to all the time convince to their children ki we can save a lot of time if you keep things at the right place, like a declutter queen, all the time convincing husband, children. Then she came to me, and the moment I gave them vervain and rock water, within just 15 days they came back. They said, oh, we have started enjoying our life. The house is messy, but we can realize how much importance is of being together, spending time together, can sit for a while with children, playing some puzzles or anything, painting. So she said, my life has changed. I was just thinking maybe thyroid, maybe this, maybe hormonal imbalance, my mood swings are coming. But she was not realizing that she was being so pushy. Like maids were leaving her, कि she is like a maniac all the time, ऐसा ही रखो, ऐसा ही करो. So they are very happy. They are like, कि life is so good, even it's not mess free. Home is messy, but we are enjoying. But
Absolutely, and
at the same point of time, they're understanding also कि we can save time if we can keep our things on their right place. So their problem has solved.
awesome, awesome. That's really nice, Akshita.
Arti, I would like to add in here.
Yes.
When I was listening to all the vervain characteristics, I found that I exhibit most of them, but that sense of urgency, or being that pushy to do something, that is missing in my case. But that, other characteristics where you need to be flow of ideas, doing this, that, and having too many things on platter, and investing in energy management and all those things are there, but that sense of urgency, or like that pushiness is missing. So what it could be? Is it still vervain, or
sense of urgency and being pushy may be one aspect for it, but are you, for whatever that you want to do you feel that over enthusiasm and over excitement?
Yeah.
Then you should, but again, see, every remedy is, I might identify myself to be a vervain, but where are there negative aspects also that are bothering, or then are you a positive state of vervain, then you don't need the remedy. If you're not being pushy, if you're not being too let's say pushy towards other people to see what you see, then I guess enjoy the whole vervain excitement.
Persuasiveness is there. So I tried, and if I look at my even assessment result, I am a convincing person. So that is there. So I try to convince people to the best of my abilities, but after a certain point, I leave it.
Then I guess I don't see the reason why you need to take a vervain over there.
Okay.
Unless it's bothering you, it's irritating you, and the fact that people can't see what I see is not troubling you.
Yeah, that doesn't trouble me.
Exactly.
Like after a certain point, if I see that person, in spite of convincing by all means, the person is still held bound to their own whims and fancies, then I just leave it there.
I think then it's a perfect state of balance to be in.
Okay.
What you said, Arti? Perfect state
of balance, I said, to be in.
I'll take that state from her.
Well, yeah, I guess if you can remain excited and enthusiastic about what you're doing and not get affected by things around not moving as per what you would want or how you would want them to, I think it's perfect way of being.
Right now, the same thing is happening. My father-in-law is ill, so I've tried a lot of bash remedies, everything, but I'm not that much pushy that I used to be earlier. Ki no, 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 only this would help. Entire night I would wake up and just trying, convincing, do meditation and everything. I'm also feeling ki all the characteristics are there in me as well. I'm giving vervain to others, but I'm still feeling I am a vervain. But I'm not that much pushy as I was earlier before taking bash.
See, I guess that is where it becomes important to correctly identify what remedy one needs, because there could be overlapping traits. Yeah, like we just identified, I'm sure of all the things that Vidhi explained about herself, a lot of us might have felt, oh, I'm there. But like I realized that's not the vervain in me, it's the rock water in me. You know, or someone might realize it's the oak in me, it's not the vervain in me. You have to find out exactly what is it that you require to balance it out for yourself. Yeah, which is why, again, coming to the same point, it helps to understand the positives and the negatives both of the remedy. What does that remedy look like in the negative state, and what can the remedy achieve when in the positive state? Right, which is what you can use with your clients as well. That, okay, I'm a little confused, ye hai ki wo hai, but then what do I need to achieve in him? What's the balance state that I want? Right. Awesome. Anything else anyone would like to share? Like Akshika said, yes.
There's one incident that I want to share, but if anyone else has to say anything, let them speak first.
Yes, so Aarti, just conclude like earlier she was telling ki she's not that pushy. I'm also telling I'm not that pushy, but still there is some sense of convincing the other one to like to take this, because I have taken this. I have gained so much. Like I've been transformed. So you also take, you also take. This kind of thing coming.
Okay, and are you like this with everybody?
More with the family members.
Okay, and okay, so let's talk about very specific examples. When do you feel you are like that?
Like right now, my father-in-law has got severe bronchial infection after viral bronchitis is there. A lot of wheezing is there. He's like, just give me something. I want to like come out of it. Maybe steroids, maybe anything like that. So, which will harm him in long run because it's too weak. So I'm like pushy towards all other kind of like healing, some like which he doesn't believe in.
Okay, and then why are you pushy about?
Because of consequences ki the malab every time he takes steroids, then he gets fungal infection in chest, then again hospitalization 2-3 months, some bacteria he catches, like it's all like 10 from last 10-12 years I've been seeing all that. So that fear maybe ki oh again we'll have to go to hospitals and sit there during night time, lot of problem would be there, maybe this thing.
Okay. So right now you very clearly said it's the fear of the consequences. Not for once did you mention, because I know this has worked with me and I know that this alone can take care of the problem. That itself rules out the vervain over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had said something like, I have been practicing, meditation for the last 15 years of my life, and I know the difference it's made to me, which is why I want somebody else to practice it. वो बात नहीं है. यहाँ पे he is sick. He is asking you for help. And you're trying to convince him to do the right thing according to you, because when he doesn't do it or he follows other things, there are consequences. There is a fear that, okay, now again something else is going to happen.
Past incidences, yeah.
There you go. So there are a lot of other things over here rather than a vervain. Okay? If you were a vervain about this, irrespective whether he was sick or he was not sick, you would have made sure the entire family is following that, because you really, really believe very strongly in meditation or whatever that you're practicing. Right? So here it's not about you taking a step back from your excitement and enthusiasm about your practice. Here it is about you being worried about the consequences. You need to fix that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, Vidhi.
Yeah, so I was saying that I remember one incident where when I went for an interview for teaching architecture, I remember one of the questions that was thrown at me was in the whole discussion. The question was, what do you think about Taj Mahal? Because you are an architect, you've come for an interview to teach, and then you need to have some opinion about the iconic building in India. So they told me that, tell me about what do you think about the Taj Mahal? So I said, that's one building I don't like. And they were all looking at me because there were 15 people. And then my job was at stake because if I wouldn't have got that job, then I wouldn't be able to run my family. But then I was at a fix because I had to be honest. So they said, why don't you like this building? And I said that how can you like a building where after creating that, people's hands were cut? How can you afford to like a building where the construction is going on? All the money is being spent over there. And while India is suffering from a huge famine at the same time, and the emperor thinks that this building is more important than the lives of people, you want me to appreciate that kind of architecture? I'm sorry, I can't. That gave me the job, but it was a risk. So I'm just pointing out certain things about how that concept of justice, injustice can give you a very different
Absolutely.
lens to see everything. Plus, at that point, honesty was more important for me than, to have that self-interest of getting the job. So a lot of these factors together come to give you a view that
Totally.
you want. And then
Totally.
it may sound like you're convincing, but that's not. You're just speaking your mind sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. You want me to read that para if we have time? Otherwise, I'm okay.
We are at 12:20. Yeah, we do have.
Okay, I'll just share the screen. One minute. Can you all see if I'm scrolling? Yeah, no? Huh. So I think the last part, if we look at the remedies in the overcare group, we see that all of them care in a way that relates back to their own view of the world. I'm just giving a context. So basically, he's talking about why red chestnut, which is also about worry for others, and Centauri, which is also a very caring person. Why are they not placed in the overcare group? And why is vervain, chicory, wine, which we think as, a sort of dictatorship, all these remedies are placed in overcare group? Oops. To height. Yeah. So wine, vervain, chicory, rock water, and beach all feel they know what is best and try to influence other people to do things their way. Red chestnut is different. Red chestnut person does not want to influence the way people live. She does not mind if she or he does not mind if you work well or badly or what path in life you choose. She just wants to know you're safe and suffers fear and anxiety at the thought that you might be at risk of harm. In this, she's far more altruistic even than the vervain. Altruistic as in just sacrificing yourself and caring for others. I mean, you're caring for others at the cost of yourself. Whose sense of justice bases itself on personal principles and a feeling of knowing what is best. Dr. Bach believed that controlling other people was a great mistake that could only harm the controller and the controlled. Any desire for control or wish to shape the young life for personal motives is a terrible form of greed. We must refuse to be under the slavery of greed, which compels us to wish to possess others. All the remedy states in the overcare group have this measure of greed and desire for control. The red chestnut form of care is different. It lacks ego. The same lack of ego explains why Centauri doesn't appear in overcare group either. Now, I was a little confused after reading this, so I wrote to Christine Ball while she's correcting my papers, and it was a part of my essay. And then I wrote a paragraph saying, this is what I've understood, just correct me if I'm wrong. So in summary, out of all that emails, I realized that if it's these 5 remedies, beech, wine, chicory, and vervain, they are more helpful than caring. They are helpful in the sense that they are helping through their skills and knowledge. They're not helping through that feeling or selflessness. Like tomorrow, if you ask me to go to Turkey because of the earthquake and volunteer, I would happily go. But if you ask me to go to some other place where some special kind of knowledge is required, although I want to care about that cause, but if I don't have the knowledge, I won't bother about it. Because I know that I can't help them. So I'll become indifferent to that. Even at home, if someone suffers through something which I feel that just needs a listening ear, and I may not be a great listener, so I might become indifferent to that, versus somewhere where my knowledge could help. But Centurion, Red Chestnut, they'll be over there. They'll never say no. They'll listen to everything that has to be said. So that ego, self-control, knowledge, skill versus Red Chestnut, who has the selfless kind of love, Centurion that has selfless kind of love, that differentiates. I mean, I'm not very proud to say that I have that indifference, but then that's true. So that's what I understood from this differentiation.
Absolutely. And I quite like this passage, the whole explanation as to why, because there are a lot of questions as to why is this remedy in this particular group. And like you rightly said, though it is called overcare, it is, I know something, I have that knowledge, which is why I'm bothered about correcting someone and telling someone what to do.
And also to showcase what you know and the fact that, okay, I know what can be done here. Let me help you out. Just stay aside. I'll take care of it.
And I basically need
that
a follow.
kind of ego feed.
Absolutely. I need a follow over here. Whereas whether it's a centauri or it's a red chestnut, it is my dire need of helping.
Yeah.
Irrespective anyone acknowledges me or and like, in fact, like what Akshika was just saying, that I want to do this because I know the consequences. फिर hospital जाना पड़ेगा, फिर there will be side effects, all of that. It's more out of that duty that I have to do towards my father-in-law, rather than the belief so much in my practices.
Yeah.
Lovely. And again, for the others who don't know about this link, I think Vidi has this beautiful platform where she reads these books and where all these books are available. So I'm sure that link has been captured in the recording as well.
I'll paste in the chat box also.
Yes, please. So try and go to that link to read all those books that are available there.
So you can make a free account and borrow any book for 1 hour. And then you can re-borrow. But that's how it works, but it's free.
That's awesome. And I think the kind of variety of books that are available itself are very, very good.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Anyone who's not had the chance to speak wants to say something, add something. Any of the first timers who've come to the support group for the first time, any feedback? Good, bad, ugly, anything is welcome. Nothing good, nothing bad?
It was a good session, and particularly we are discussing one at a time. So we are actually going through all the nuances of that remedy.
Absolutely.
And it is definitely very insightful session.
I think the main idea was that you know, in your class you might be able to give at the most 10 minutes to understanding that remedy, but the differences, the overlapping similarities, the traits you will not be able to get unless you're either practicing them, unless you've either experienced it, or then you get so much time to kind of discuss that one particular remedy. So the support group always helps. And please,
Also, Aarti, I wanted to add one more thing. While we were reading those paragraphs, there was a mention of, what physical symptoms does this vermin get? Headache and some other they lack immune power at the end because of their over enthusiasm. So similarly, if these remedies are affecting any physical symptom of it, let us emphasize on that also, so that sometimes it is very crucial, for especially with old people. This
I
helps.
understand. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, definitely. We'll be sharing this recording as well on this particular group. So at least, I don't know, Neha, how do you manage this to take down all these email IDs and send the e-transfer? We do it on WhatsApp.
I will send it on the support group.
Idea that would be better, so that even people who've not attended it would get it. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, please post it on the group while we're still there. Yes, Matina.
We were till Chicory, and then how did we reach Vervin? Did I miss?
No, you didn't miss anything. So Neha and I were sitting and we were thinking about, okay, so what do we go next alphabetically? And then I said, okay, let's do something different. Yeah, let's just go somewhere else and not follow the alphabet. Because I think we had thought about doing chestnut bud or something, Neha, or clematis, something like that.
हाँ, we were on C ना? C
Yeah,
थे.
yeah.
मैं बोली क्या हो गया? Something. Okay.
थोड़ी सी excitement लाने की जरूरत थी ग्रुप में, तो वर्वेन चूज किया.
Okay.
I think
So
last
you never know, we might just go back to last was clematis.
But
We were on
I think
C.
it was
I
a
know we
great
were on
session.
C. Thank you so much, Aparna. Hi, nice to see you.
Same here, same here.
Okay, guys, if for a quick moment, can we all have our videos on? I would really like to take a snapshot of this.
I think I have one request.
Yes.
Actually, I just want to ask one thing, that a person is suffering from some emotional breakdown, and I think she's a wine person, but she doesn't want to discuss about her problem, and she's having medicine also, and psychiatrist. She's going to psychiatrist also. So I was just telling her and suggesting her about the batch. So should I give her your number and anything so that you can help her out?
If she's willing to.
No, she's not. Actually, she's so much scared of that thing now. So she's not believing that it will help her out. So I'm bit.
Don't help somebody who doesn't need help. You will only experience failure.
Yeah, that is a thing. So I thought I should ask you.
I know, I genuinely believe this and practice this today after all these years. Because if you try and help someone who's not asking for your help, who's not appreciating it, you're only, even if you see the difference, you're only going to meet failure. Because they're never going to acknowledge it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can try and show them the light. If they choose to follow, great. Then you don't need any RT, even you will be more than happy and be available.
Yeah, right? Surely.
Lovely.
Before we do anything, can I just know the name of the book that Vidi read from? That where she did that comparison.
Yes, for everybody, I request whatever books you've read, please send a snapshot of the cover page on the group so we all know. Hey Radhika, nice to see you. Okay, everyone's cams on. Quick, please.
Hi, Aarti. Happy to see you.
Same here, same here. And I really wish to meet everybody in person once again. Hey Pavitra, now I keep calling you Pavitra and I keep calling Pavitra Pravita.
Yeah, my name is very difficult.
No, but then the best part is we have a Pravita and we have a Pavitra.
Oh, okay.
So even when Neha and I are talking, but we have to take 1 second to kind of, while you're in Bombay, she's in extreme south. So
no, I have shifted to Mangalore now.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
So you're no longer a Bandra person.
No.
Okay, Khushi, Neeta, Deepika, Kajal, Akshay, Lakshmi, I can't see her. Okay, I'm going to take a quick print screen of this. I'm going to send this to everybody. It's nice to see all of you here. And I hope in our next support group also, we have as many or more. But I would love this kind of participation. And somebody did request, I don't think that person is on the group, but somebody did request for actual live support groups also. My request to you all are, since we're all scattered all around India, like for example, Matina is in Nasik, start having your pilot groups there. If you need any kind of support from me as to how to do it, what topics to cover, I'll be more than happy. But have your pilot groups where people of that area, that city meet up. You can have one in Delhi, you can have one in Pune, you can have one wherever you are. You can have so many in South. There are so many people in down South. You've got people in Chennai, Bangalore, now Mangalore. Just meet up. It's one way of keeping that learning going. Yeah, while we have this main group and we will do this online very often. But somebody needs to take an initiative. Try and put that word out. See if people are willing to meet you. And just
who are from Pune, I will take the initiative for Pune batch.
Awesome. There is someone called Swamini also who recently turned into a BFRP. So put that request on the group, and whoever comes together, if we ever plan to come visit that city, we will have a support group. Yeah. So Delhi is next on our target.
Let's at least plan ours in Mumbai.
Definitely.
Yes,
Let's
please.
Okay, so the next one we're gonna plan in Mumbai.
We have a space in Vellapalli to do that.
Perfect. I will call you up today, tomorrow, latest tomorrow, but we'll do this for sure.
Yes, please. Yes, it'll
My
be so.
office is in Vellapalli. I can easily make it.
There you go. There you go. We can easily come to Vellapalli and do it. All right. Nice to see you guys. Please keep in touch and keep the activity going on in the group as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. See you.
Thank you.
so much.
Bye.
Thanks, ma'am.